right, welcome to the show, y'all. We got a lot of stuff to get to, but let me say up front, I am genuinely struggling to come up with the language to explain to you just how much we live in hell and just how bad everything is. I mean, it is off the charts bad. It is so bad, I never in my life thought we'd see it this bad before. And it's getting worse by the day. It is getting worse by the day. So sit back, relax, buckle up. As I said, we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about Trump is now prepping an illegal ground war in Venezuela. Our troops are in place, and it looks like it's almost certainly going to happen. So we'll talk about that. We also have Trump going to the U.S. Open for tennis and getting mercilessly booed and causing mass chaos, which pissed off thousands of people whose experience was ruined. So we'll dive into that. We have Joe Rogan is continuing to take big fat L's. He fell for the world's most obvious AI video of all time. Absolutely pathetic, embarrassingly stupid. Then we'll get to the I've Had It podcast ladies exploding on Democrats and issuing a dire warning. And later on MAGA violence, Rand Paul versus J.D. Vance. That is very fun. So we'll talk about that and more. You guys know the drill. Everybody please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and costs you nothing at all. You can support the show on Patreon if you'd like to. Just $2 a month goes a long way. $5 a month goes a really long way. Remember, this is independent media, real independent media. I've never talked to an advertiser. I've never talked to a billionaire. I've never talked to a PAC. I've never talked to a foreign government. I've never done an ad read. I'm very proud of what we've built here, and you guys have made that possible. So thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon, and thank you to everybody who tips with that thanks button on YouTube. That also makes a big difference, and I can't thank you enough for that. By the way, while we're on the topic, everybody go subscribe to the Crystal Kyle and Friends Substack. That link is below. And tonight, y'all, Kyle and Corin live. Go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel. You don't want to miss it. We always have a really great time doing these live Kyle and Corins. Come hang out with us. Send some super chats. We're going to shoot the shit. Who knows what we'll talk about. It's still political, but a lot less political than what we do on this show. But anyway, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. So Trump the other day posted this, quote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. I love the smell of deportations in the morning." And then it says, Chicago about to find out why. It's called the Department of War. And as you can see here, it's a play on Apocalypse Now. And it says, Shy-pocalypse now. And you see Trump sitting there with helicopters in the air. And it looks like there's fire and smoke because the helicopters just bombed Chicago. That's what the President of the United States is posting. So in other words, the President of the United States is threatening to invade and bomb the United States. Could you imagine any other president doing anything remotely close to this? It would be beyond absurd. They would be impeached immediately. But here's Trump casually talking about, yeah, we changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and you're about to find out why, Chicago, because we're about to declare war on you, a great American city. Look, I know, I get it. Like, part of the reason why he's doing it is to trigger the libs or whatever. Mission accomplished. The libs are fucking triggered. But you know what? They're right to be triggered. I mean, especially because he already invaded Los Angeles. He already invaded D.C. He's already doing a full fascist tyrannical takeover. And so he wants to continue that with Chicago. So this is incredibly dark. By the way, we just got word. It looks like some National Guard are getting in place to indeed invade Chicago. And this time, it looks like the Texas National Guard is going to lead the way. So one of the big red states is going to invade one of the big blue cities in a blue state. That's great. Everything's normal. Everything's fine. It's not like we're witnessing martial law and a police state happen right in front of our eyes. This is all completely normal. Oh my goodness. All right, but I'm not done. So here's Trump threatening to invade Chicago and declare war on Chicago. By the way, also, let me just point out the Department of War thing. He changed the name, and they're like, changing all the places where the name is listed or written out. Like, for example, in Pete Hegseth's office, they're changing it to Department of War. So they're actually physically trying to change it, which would cost billions of dollars if you change it everywhere, right? But this is something that has to go through Congress. But it just speaks to how much of a rogue regime this is, that they changed it to Department of War. They're acting on that and changing the signs everywhere, but that's still technically illegal. So, but that's just a side note. Now let's get to J.D. Vance, because he's doing stuff that's honestly just as bad as this, if not worse. So look at this. This actually happened. Ready? When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know if that's real. I went and searched it. It's real, okay? J.D. Vance says, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Now, by the way, he's referring to bombing the little dinghy fishing boat off the coast of Venezuela, which, update, turns out they weren't soldiers, they weren't narco-terrorists, they weren't bad guys, they were fishermen. More on that in a little bit. Okay, but he says this. Brian Krasenstein responds, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. And J.D. Vance goes, I don't give a shit what you call it. Bro, I'm not kidding when I say, scrolling through my Twitter feed, I saw 7, 8, 9 different top-level conservative influencer pundit assholes all like giggling and chuckling and cumming themselves because J.D. Vance decided to post casually in favor of war crimes. They thought this was like an epic own. They thought this was, oh, bro, you got him, bro. Oh, my God, bro, you showed him. Who's boss, bro? It's like, homie, this is called evidence. This is going to be used at the future Nuremberg trials. This is just like brazenly against the Geneva Conventions. I mean, this, and he says this, and all the right celebrates, and I'm looking at this going, I think perhaps the most naive thing of all time was anybody thinking that bipartisanship is possible with these absolute disgusting gremlins, these absolute freaks, these decrepit, depraved sadists. How could you fucking work with these people who are literally drooling on themselves and cheering for disgusting war crimes? I mean, it's laid out in no uncertain terms. You're killing citizens of another nation who are civilians, and there's no due process. And J.D. Vance like, I don't care what you call it. I like it. Oh, my God, bro. Oh, my God. So now they're just bragging about war crimes on Maine. That's great. That's great. So let me also give you some other updates. This actually came out about 5 minutes before I started the show here. Trump was giving a speech. And listen to what he says. This is wild.
There's no crime. They said crime's down 87%. I said, no. It's more than 87%. Virtually nothing. And much lesser things that take place in the home they call crime. You know, they'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this was a crime, see? So now I can't claim 100%.
How is that not downplaying domestic violence? If a man has a little fight with his wife, they say it's a crime. This man is the embodiment of everything evil. So there's some good news. Federal appeals court upholds E. Jean Carroll's $83.3 million judgment against Trump, rejecting his claim that presidential immunity should have shielded him from liability. So if you'll remember, this is one of the civil cases that Trump lost. And now apparently an appeals court said, yeah, you still have to pay that $83.3 million to E. Jean Carroll, which, by the way, Don, shouldn't be a problem for you. You made about $3.4 billion from your crypto scams alone. Never mind the amount of money you're taking in from Saudi Arabia, which, you have all the live golf events at your courses and stuff. So you probably made billions from them off that alone as well. You should be good money. $83.3 million is like fucking shit you find in between the couch cushions, dog. That should be no problem whatsoever. All right, and then let me give you this one as well. So we have, this article came out in Politico, and Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, absolutely exploded on another administration officials. Look at this. At a private dinner with Trump allies last week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent threatened to punch housing finance official Bill Pulte, quote, in the fucking face. Politico reports, Bessent had heard from several people that Pulte was bad-mouthing him to Trump. Quote, why the fuck are you talking to the president about me? Fuck you. I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. I'm going to fucking beat your ass. Bessent told a stunned Pulte. If you're keeping track, I believe this is the third time in the, 8 months Trump has been in office, where his Treasury Secretary is threatening violence. Bessent and Elon Musk had some violent sort of thing or threats going on, potentially even a fight. Remember, Elon had that black eye, which, by the way, on that one, I'm not sure whose side I'm taking. Probably taking Bessent's side, if I'm being honest with you. But here he is, like, physically threatening some other asshole in the Trump regime. And I think there was one other, too, that I'm forgetting. So, guys, it has never been more clear. We are being governed by pampered elite little pricks born with silver spoons in their mouth, like Donald Trump, and flat-out white trash. This is white trash to the max. So, take your pick. You want the pampered little pricks born with silver spoons in their mouths, from families that are multimillionaires who have everything they've ever needed, had nannies wiping their ass until they were fucking like 5 years old. Do you want that, or do you want the white trash element, threatening violence and threatening to fuck up random people as you're in the White House and you're the fucking Treasury Secretary? Because those are your options with who's governing us right now. So this is as bad as it gets, y'all. This is as bad as it gets. You have the Trump regime going full evil, sociopath, psychopath. You have them bragging and cheerleading war crimes, threatening further invasions of the U.S. I mean, if I had said to you before this election, if I had said to you that this is going to be what was going on, you would have said, Kyle, you have Trump derangement syndrome and you are insanely off base. I mean, it is a caricature. It is cartoonish what you think this Trump regime will end up doing. And then here we are. I got to be honest with you, I don't even have the imagination to make up how bad it's ultimately been. This is, I mean, I can't even fathom anything worse. The only thing worse is like he ends up nuking somebody, which I don't even want to speak that into existence because it seems like that's on the table. World War III is on the table. A new Great Depression is on the table. Using nukes is on the table. I mean, he's already out there threatening fucking Greenland and Mexico and Panama and already attacked Venezuela and Iran. I mean, it is an absolute horror show, and he's only been in there for, about 8 months, and it feels like that shit's we've already been through 7 years of his second term. That's how much this shit is grinding everybody down. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.